This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
You're always this stupid. It is you take lessons. Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole. So welcome to another episode of Qasincucumber, the podcast where we point and laugh at stupid companies, customers, and coworkers alike. I'm Lara Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
All right. So we haven't been able to record. Life has just been too crazy.
Fucking ridiculous.
But we did manage to get together tonight to do a recap of the whole Theranos thing.
Oh, yeah.
This bitch.
I have not been able to look at anything lately, so yeah.
It's so funny that you say that because the first week, so this not this last weekend, but the weekend before that, when you said you couldn't record, I reached out to Alexandra the Great.
Right.
And we recorded
a
session together. Yeah. And she's such a delight. Hey, girl, shout out. But she asked me flat out. She was like, I'm not complaining. I love it that you guys do it this way. Mm-hmm. But Tanya really does seem to not know anything until you tell. Like, and she was just like, I love it. She loves the same way I do. Loves your gut reaction.
Right.
But then she was like, how do you keep her from looking this stuff up?
Well, sometimes I'm just so busy.
Right.
And sometimes I just don't even, like lately, I haven't even been watching the news. I'm ashamed to say it because I just need
It's too much right now.
Right, yeah.
Honestly.
Everything is just too much. It's been 4 years of maximum overdrive as far as news and everything else. And I'm stepping back and just let me do something else.
And that literally was my response to her. Look, Tanya is such a mom to so many people that you're constantly doing all these things for other people, like this wedding that you just had to step in and help. Basically, I just told Alexandra, she doesn't have the time to sit and do this like I do.
Yeah.
Like, I just have more time.
I mean, my kids are
Plus,
grown.
you know not to look it up because you know I'm going to tell you.
Right. And she likes my reaction.
I do.
Whenever she tells me stuff. If there's something like while we're sitting here and she's telling me something, I might look it up real quick just so I can be like, what the fuck is going on? Mm-hmm. Some things I do look into and everything, but yeah, because for one, I can't stand that bitch. I really cannot stand her. And I just...
It's so frustrating.
Plus, I'm at a point in my life where the less bullshit I have to deal with on a daily basis, the happier I am.
So there were two things I wanted to talk about before we dive into the Theranos of it all. Because, oh my God, there's so much. And I will warn you guys, all the Theranos updates I'm going to give you are not in chronological order. There have been so many little moments in the courtroom that are worthy of their own article. So these reporters are taking a little persnickety, argument between the witness and the defense counsel, and they're explaining it in an article. But when you try to look up like just what's happened so far in the trial, there's just so many of those articles that you're like, oh my God. Oh. There's just so many little things.
Right.
It's wild, but we'll get there. First thing, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Waste Management, our trash people.
Oh.
Thank you so much. The other day last Friday, we had that wicked wind. Like, it was super bad. Well, we put our trash cans out, and the guys emptied them, but then they actually brought them all the way back up to the house and like put them back.
Oh.
Because we wheel it down to the curb, and we saw them do it, and we were like, oh my God, thank you. And they were like, yeah, we're trying to put all these back because the wind was literally like carrying these trash
shit around
cans away.
Yeah.
So they were taking the time, which I could appreciate, to put them back for us. It was very nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, thank you, Waste Management, for that. Going the extra mile. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the Theranos of it all is Miss Britney Spears.
Oh my God. So my heart breaks for her.
Doesn't it? Oh my God. It's so frustrating and sad that this has gone on for so fucking long. And all these people are just making money off of her. And it's the fact that they like seem to allegedly kidnapped her and put her on lithium.
And said that
like,
she had dementia. Like,
yeah.
They so I watched, so Avery, last night I was at the gym, and when I got done, Avery had called me and he was like, call me when you get this. It's like, what is wrong? You know, because, you know,
right.
We're getting close to baby time. We've got like 6 weeks.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. He weighs like over 4 pounds now.
Oh, little pterodactyl.
He's my little pterodactyl. Anyways, so I call him. I'm like, is everything okay?
Right.
And he was like, no, everything is fine. Everything's fine. Hey, have you watched Britney versus Spears yet? First off, what the fuck are you watching Britney versus Spears? But okay. I said, no, what is it? And so he told me, he was like, Mom, fucking watch it. I said, okay. So I got home last night and got ready for bed. And I was like, let me watch this. So I'm watching it. And the first like 30 minutes, I'm just like, yeah, we know, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I already knew her dad was a fucking scumbag and, you know, all this other shit. So I wasn't, you know, didn't really surprise me. But then when they started talking about how they said that she had dementia and how she was unfit. But meanwhile, she's working on How I Met Your Mother. She's releasing albums. She's going on tour. But she has dementia.
Yeah.
And she's not capable of taking care of herself or her children.
Yeah, that's stupid. Now, have you watched... So that's the Netflix one, which is Britney versus Spears. Have you watched the Hulu one?
No. Okay, so I wasn't... okay, I knew I had seen another one, but I couldn't remember where. So maybe I'll watch the...
Yes. So watch the Hulu one. I think the Hulu one, personally, between the two, I like the Hulu one better. It's called Controlling Britney Spears.
Okay, so maybe I'll watch that one in the morning then.
It's really, really good. It's shocking to me that so many people... I guess it shouldn't be shocking to me. Like, they were all making money off of her.
Right.
You know?
And it's awful, like the way that they were using her. And then what kills me is her so religious father.
Oh, fuck
that
him.
one part where the reporters are trying to talk to him and he's like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't ever fucking talk to you guys. And you know, what a fucking hypocrite son of a bitch. And this poor girl is just terrified to go home.
Absolutely.
And now they say and that poor Adnan guy was like, yeah, now they could say I kidnapped you because you are not you anymore.
Right. Oh my
That's
God.
fucking crazy.
It's wild.
And even that one guy was like, wow, 30 minutes of freedom for her was them bringing her car so that she could drive her own car for 30 minutes. Like,
Jesus.
That shit. This girl is making how many millions of dollars for these people between record sales and
concerts and merch
and her residency in Las Vegas and everything else. But she's not fit to take care of herself or her children.
Well, that's one of the points
one of the things they kept saying is, well, we'll take your kids from you. What the fuck?
It's gross. And the fact that she's had to pay for it, that's the part that I'm just like,
right.
She
had to pay these people to take her money.
Yeah. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, the conservatorship thing. It's been pointed out that most people, like 99.99% of people who are under a conservatorship don't have jobs.
Right, because they can't.
She has a job. She's not over here in the corner drooling on herself.
Right. She's, not up in a bell tower trying to pick people off. She's not doing anything like that. She worked. And she supported all these motherfuckers.
And the gravy train is over. I love her lawyer, her new lawyer, Rosengart, I think is his name. So they were saying, because she got engaged.
Right.
They're like, he should walk her down the aisle.
Yeah, fuck Jamie Spears.
And they keep calling him Rosendad because they're like, this should be her fault, like the person that should have been the one to protect her.
Yeah.
And all he did was steal from her. He's gross.
Yeah.
The hearing on the 29th suspended Dad Spears. Thank God.
Yeah. They should put him in fucking jail.
Oh, I absolutely. And Rosengart is not playing around. No, because these motions that Jamie's attorneys keep filing, seemed to just be him trying anything he can to either maintain control or bury what he's done. And this I thought was really interesting. The lawyer that is arguing for Jamie, the dad, right? When they're talking about attorney-client privilege between Jamie Spears' lawyers and Jamie Spears, usually there's confidentiality.
Yeah.
Right? With this is unique. Your attorney-client privilege is not any good. The attorney-client privilege is between the attorney and the role of conservator. Right. Not necessarily Jamie. You are representing the conservator. Yeah. And she is not that lawyer bitch. She was not grasping this yesterday. She was still fighting. And ultimately what it means is because there is no client confidentiality or privilege, all their communications, and I will be shocked if they weren't deleted, but all the communications and anything that has been said between Jamie and his lawyers, that gets sent to the new custodian. And guess what the new custodian's going to do? Turn around and hand over to Rosengart so he can fucking lay the smack down. Yeah. So many people didn't even realize she was still under the conservatorship.
Right. I had forgotten all about it. I'm thinking to myself, the girl's like 40 years old now or some shit. Like, does she still need a guardian? Right. They're taking...
Does she still have to ask? Like, Iggy Azalea told a story about how when they worked together, she wanted a soda, and they told her, no soda, like she was a child. And Iggy Azalea was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why can't she have a fucking soda? Right. This is dumb. Right. And I really hope they go after I personally think
they should go after all of them.
Yeah.
The doctor that diagnosed her.
Thank you.
Jamie Spears, that religious nut lady. Yeah. The attorneys, anybody who was in cahoots for all of this needs to go to jail.
Absolutely.
It's like they kidnapped her.
They did.
They kidnapped her and tried to do it legally. Like in a legal way.
And the fact that they bugged her bedroom, that blew my fucking mind.
When she made her little statement at the end of the one on Netflix, that was sad when she made her little statement to the judge. But I could not.
You just couldn't wrap your brain around it.
I was like, wait a minute. Because it took me a minute to realize what was going on. Right. I was like, wait a minute. So basically they declared this girl who's worth all this money, who is still making millions of dollars every year, working her ass off. But they said that she was basically incompetent.
Yeah.
And
Jamie was paying himself $16,000 a month.
Right.
And giving her an allowance of $8,000 a month. Yeah. There was another story in one of I can't remember where I saw it. She would ask for things that you were like, why can't she have them? She wanted a pair of sneakers. They were walking through, go do a show or something, and they passed a store, and she said to her assistant, hey, those shoes are really cute. Can you go in and grab me a pair in my size? And these fucking lawyer people were like, no, you can't have the shoes. And it was Skechers. You're telling me this bitch is making upwards of $50 million every year.
But she can't get a pair of $80 Skechers.
She can't get a fucking pair of Skechers. That's how much fucking control you have over this
And it was
girl?
sad whenever they brought her those papers in the bathroom by the pool.
Oh my God.
That was so sad. And the girl was just like,
yeah.
I didn't even know.
She was just in shock.
Yeah. She said that she came in, signed everything, and she just had this look like,
yeah,
thank you. Then they had the girl on lithium. Fucking lithium?
Lithium? No. What the? It's gross. So congrats to Britney and all that. Definitely recommend the documentaries. They're fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm not even a Britney Spears fan.
No.
And I was captivated.
But it's not really, it's a human story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not necessarily about Britney Spears.
I mean, I could see
and
somebody
liking
trying to
her.
say that my ass was incompetent sometimes. I could definitely see him like, you know what?
You're like, yeah.
This bitch is off the rails most days.
Yeah.
So let's go on ahead and...
She's unfit.
This bitch is unfucking fit like 99% of the time. So let me... Oh, hold on. I have to tell you, I was real unfit fucking yesterday. Was it yesterday or Wednesday? One of those days. So, you know, Colorado has sick pay. It's
Right.
2 days right off the bat, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it goes into detail, like, you know, telling you what you can and cannot use it for.
Mm-hmm.
So, true or false? Do you think you can use your Colorado state sick pay if your dog gets sick? True or false? True or false? Come on, answer me.
False.
True!
Is it really? No
Yeah.
fucking
And then
way.
if you work like someplace where you get like occurrences or something like that for attendance, they can't give you an occurrence either.
Shut up. That is fucking wild.
Because my agent called me, her dog got stung by a bee or some shit, she said, and she ended up having to leave work, and she sent me this big long email about it, and that she wanted to use her Colorado sick pay. So I messaged my boss, and I send her the email, and I'm just like, hey, is this a thing? And she was like, I don't know. But I would assume not. It's a dog.
Right.
I said, and I even explained to my agent, it doesn't say anything in here that dogs are covered. It says, you know, family members,
Right.
if you know, scheduled appointments, blah, blah, blah. I said, it doesn't say anything about animals, service animals, or otherwise.
Right.
She said, well, it doesn't say it in there either.
Huh.
I said, okay. You got me there. I mean, I don't know.
Touche.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. It's like
Yeah.
7:00 in the fucking morning too. And I'm
Oh,
just like,
Lord.
for fuck's sake. So I call El Boogie and just tell her what's going on. I send her the email. She was like, let me get back with you. I said, okay. So like 30 minutes goes by. So she calls me. She was like, so girl.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So tell her to submit the paperwork here, or to submit the request here. It'll be covered, and HR will remove the occurrence that she received. And I was just like, wait. Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. So, poor little kitten Duchess has a
Poor
bad
little
day.
kitten Duchess. Lay down.
Then I could take off time and get paid for it, so I can console her or something.
That is fucking wild.
She was like, yeah. So this had to be Wednesday, because yesterday I put in our little team chat, I said, Duchess had a real rough night last night, so I think I'll be logging off for the rest of the day. See you losers Monday.
So now that we've got that all out of the way, let's talk about Theranos.
Okay, this bitch.
This bitch. Oh my God. So I have a boatload of articles here. This is going to be kind of a discombobulated. We're just going to talk about all these.
Okay.
So first things first. This is an article from slash.org. And I don't see the name of the writer, but it says, there's a new surprise from the Wall Street Journal's John Carreyrou, author of Theranos, blah, blah, blah. According to Carreyrou, Holmes is currently, that is very important word in this, is currently waltzing around Silicon Valley, meeting with investors,
She's going to do it again.
hoping to raise money for an entirely new startup idea.
She's going to do it again.
This woman.
Oh my God, I fucking hate her. I hate her so much.
I need to take a picture
She's
of you
gonna
right now.
do it again.
She is. If they don't hold her accountable, God only freaking knows what's going to happen. And now what I was like, Tanya's going to shit herself when I tell her this.
She's gonna do it again.
You guys should see Tanya's face, right? This is why I don't tell you anything.
This
I know.
stupid bitch is gonna do it
This-
again.
this
So can
psycho.
that be brought up in her current case? Like, look, Your Honor, she's clearly...
Maybe. I don't know. But her part of her settlement with the SEC was that she would not be the head of a company for 10
Right.
years.
So how is she doing this?
I have no idea. I would think putting it in somebody else's name and being like, no, I'm not. He is. I'm just doing the job. Like, I really think that's what it, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That about broke my brain. I could not get past it. It's kind of like the missing database. Can't get past it. This is just one of those things. I'm just perplexed.
I really am. Like, you didn't learn your lesson?
Mm-hmm.
You're on trial right now. You faked or got pregnant on purpose to keep from going on trial a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're up to your same old shenanigans.
Yeah.
I am...
Flabbergasted?
That's the word. Yeah, that's the
word.
I'm fucking flabbergasted. Like,
Yeah. I do not disagree with you.
I mean, this is like letting Charles Manson lead up a church. Like, it really...
You're like, how?
Oh, he
is
learned his
this?
lesson the first time. No, it's not a cult. It's a church. It's a church.
All right, so let's back up to earlier in the trial. There was, this is so wild. So this is by, this is NPR by somebody named Bobby Allen from September 14th. It says, during the first day of jury selection at the federal fraud trial of Elizabeth Holmes, an incognito San Diego hotel magnate
Not incognito.
yeah, pulled a large Rice Krispie treat from his pocket. Loudly. So loudly, in fact, that the judge's voice was barely audible in the back of the courtroom over the sound of his wiggling the brick-shaped snack out of the tightly wrapped plastic. My name is Hanson, said the man, wearing a baseball cap and a Patagonia puffer jacket. He was sociable and chatty, adjectives that rarely describe people attending one of the most high-profile trials in Silicon Valley history. Blah, 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 blah. As the trial proceedings started, the man presented himself to reporters as something of an everyman who came out of curiosity and nothing more. I fix up old cars for a living, he said. Elizabeth and I are the only two people not being paid to be here. Okay. While the courtroom drama...
Wait, was this just a random fucking guy?
No. That's coming. While the courtroom drama centered on which 12 Californians would form the jury that decides Holmes' fate, journalists in the courtroom had other burning questions. Who was this man? Why was he talking so much to all the reporters? Did he have a connection to Holmes he wasn't disclosing? When asked, he was cryptic. He said, "Do I know her? Does anyone know her?" His story, however, a short while later, he called himself a concerned citizen interested in the trial. However, his story would soon unravel. Over the course of 2 days of jury selection, he gabbed with reporters standing in line, etc., etc. He maintained more or less the same story. He was a car enthusiast who was acting as a media watchdog. And then he said, no journalist has ever told the real story about her, he said. Turns out, dude is baby daddy's dad.
So he's grandpa.
So everybody was like, wait. And then he showed up. Like, it was like he was trying to be sneaky in the courtroom to, like, catch the reporters, like, get information from them. I'm really not sure what the point
I
of
don't.
this was.
Yeah, I don't understand why he was so incognito.
Not a fucking clue. But
because
it just kind of is showing me, like, all the things that this woman is trying to do.
what did she
that
think
make
that he
no
was going to
fucking
catch the
sense.
reporters doing
I
besides
have no idea.
reporting?
I genuinely don't know. I wonder if his statement about, no journalist has ever told the real story. I'm wondering if the goal was him trying to, like, push them into thinking, oh, well, the readers, they're on Elizabeth's side. Like, I don't know if he was there trying to influence their coverage or what, but it's just weird.
I am confusion.
Yeah. So we'll move on from that. That was just a weird little, like...
With his Rice Krispie treat. Get
with
the
his
fuck
Rice
outta here.
Krispie treat. You're like, okay. So, this is from the Wall Street Journal by Sarah Randazzo, which I think we've read some other articles from her. Elizabeth Holmes' poetry steals the show at Theranos trial.
Her poetry?
We're 1 month into the blockbuster trial of Elizabeth Holmes, founder of the blood testing startup Theranos, which has been called Silicon Valley's biggest fraud. And despite extensive media coverage of the rise and collapse of the blood testing firm starting as early as 2015, much of what we are learning at the trial is new, as prosecutors seek to answer questions central to the case. What did Holmes know, and when did she know it? So, perhaps the most salacious details to emerge this week were a number of text messages between Holmes and Balwani read in court. In some, Holmes appears to wax poetic to Balwani, with whom she was romantically involved, to which Balwani responds uninterestedly. Check this out. This is fucking funny. Holmes texts him, "You are the breeze and desert for me, my water and ocean, meant to be only together, tiger."
Tiger.
You know what his response was? Okay.
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 You say so.
That's some shit.
What was he supposed to respond back with? I mean, how do you follow that? What do you follow that with?
What do you say?
Roar.
Roar.
Like, what do you fucking say to that?
You're like, okay.
Okay. I don't know. I would have sent her a picture of Tony the Tiger off the cereal box. Rare.
They're great.
Rare.
Oh my God. Okay, so Rosendorf, he is the lab guy, the lab director, I think. Mm-hmm. Rosendorf told the court that when he plotted his escape from Theranos, he defied his non-disclosure agreement with the company to forward himself emails and documents. He said he anticipated government investigations of the firm and wanted to protect himself against potential prosecution. He was not alone. Another former scientist who testified at the trial claims she did the same after Holmes ignored her concerns about launching the machines when they were still showing inaccurate results. "I was scared. Things were not going well." In addition to Mattis and the scientists, we saw the first testimony from a customer of Theranos in recent days. A woman who the court heard was falsely told she was miscarrying her baby due to inaccurate Theranos blood test results. Like that one, they could have terminated the pregnancy.
Right,
like,
right.
And it was a perfectly viable pregnancy.
Wow.
Let's take a look here. So a number of lab workers at Theranos have testified thus far, including former lab associate Erica Chung. She spoke about the large rate of inaccuracy in the Edison devices, the flagship technology touted by Theranos, saying they regularly failed quality control analysis. Executives would encourage the scientists to cherry pick and manipulate the data to make the results seem more accurate than they were.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, the prosecution didn't really, or the defense didn't really go after her too much. I think they know she's a very sympathetic witness, and you don't want to be appearing to be bullying.
Right.
Her. But what's interesting is all the questioning up until this point has really been, and we talked about this in our series, we've talked about it a couple of times, those people that, the higher ups that want to get you to do their dirty work,
right? So
that they can turn around when you get caught and be like, "Wasn't me."
Well, I didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Like that's what all these fuckers like. That's Balwani and Holmes's argument, basically. Which, yeah, fuck off. Mattis testified, and basically he said that he was all in for it, but he was misled as well, and he was like, "I wouldn't have done this or even been interested if I knew that there was a separate lab."
Right.
Like his idea was to put this Edison machine on the back of a Humvee or in a helicopter or on a boat or whatever. His whole reasoning for wanting this was to use it because it's compact and small.
Right.
And the defense's argument to him was, well, you knew that they had another lab location, so you must have known that they were running these tests, not on the Edison. And he's like, the fuck I did.
So, and I'm not going to say that there are machines like that, but I can tell you. So when I get my blood work done, I just had blood work done Monday. Mm-hmm. And I went to the doctor within, I don't know, 20 minutes. I got an email saying, hey, you have new test results. All my blood work came back that quickly.
Right.
The machine they have in the room it's huge, and then they put it in one of those things like the thing at the drive-through bank.
Oh, yeah. One of those tube.
Yeah, one of those tube things. Plam, pop it in there, and I don't know what happens to it after that. If they got little, midgets back there doing some kind of test or something, I don't know. But fucking Oompa Loompas or something.
The Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, but bam, just that quick within 20 minutes. So, and it works. Mm-hmm. It works. But what was going on with her technology, and why did she think that this was so much better than what was already out there?
And that's kind of a topic that I really want to talk with you about. Not necessarily about an article, but something I have learned. I think I learned it through the John Carreyrou podcast. Mm-hmm. But I never was able to wrap my brain around why they felt like they could put all this in one box and make it like, why were they so convinced that they could do this easily? Like,
right.
They knew that they didn't have the product, but they were going out there lying, saying that they did.
Right.
When they seemed to believe that it was going to be a super easy fix. Right. Well, I never could grasp why they thought it was a super easy fix. Turns out, which we touched on this a little bit in our deep dive, but I really cannot stress it enough. She believed that her and Sonny believed that this was a software issue, that all of this was completely possible. They just had to figure out the right way to program the machine.
But they didn't, and they gave false results.
Mm-hmm. Like, they really believed that this was a software issue.
I'm sure, because that machine looks like it's pretty space age at my doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if other, places or other sort of doctor's offices use this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because this is oncology. So they put that shit in there. They want to know our results right away. Right. Because we have to, Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that there is and has been and will be better technology. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't understand why she thought that it was just a software issue. Mm-hmm. When obviously
it's not just a software issue.
It's not just a software issue. Like, this is, and that's, why would you want to take something so lightly when you're playing with people's lives? Mm-hmm. Because that's what she was doing.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of testimony this week about these people saying that they went to her and one of them was begging and pleading to delay the launch into Walgreens. And her response was basically, I made a promise to these customers and I'm going to give it to them. Okay, you're going to give them a machine that doesn't work.
Right.
How does that do anybody any good? Great, you were on time, but you still failed.
Right. Right. What good was you being on time?
Exactly.
When it was bullshit. You are a snake oil salesman, madam.
Oh my God. So this is from Ars Technica. Let's take a look here. So a patient on blood thinners reported bruising and feeling off after a medication change following a Theranos test. The court heard yesterday in the criminal trial of company founder Elizabeth Holmes. Her doctor had increased the dosing of her blood thinners in response to test results reported by Theranos. I have not felt right since the one increased dose, and also experienced various skin bruising on my legs and arms almost immediately after the one dose increase, she said in an email to Theranos. The complaint and other issues, quote, raised serious and grave concerns for me about the accuracy of the test result, or the test process, Dr. Adam Rosendorf, Theranos' former lab director, told jurors in response to questioning by the prosecution. Other tests the company performed were producing worrisome results, Rosendorf said. In other words, wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And after repeatedly raising these issues with executives, it got to the point where he didn't feel comfortable staying with the company. The number and severity of the issues reached a crescendo for me. Warning signs appeared earlier, though. In January of 2013, in anticipation of a visit from state inspectors who certify labs for Medicare, Balwani had told employees that no one was going in or out of the lab that contained the company's proprietary Edison devices, Rosendorf said. The court also saw an email from Holmes in which she asked everyone to, quote, let me know if the path for walking the auditors in and downstairs has been cemented so we can avoid areas that cannot be accessed, and what the path is. During visits by the state inspectors, labs are legally obligated to grant inspectors access to all areas encompassed under the certificate. And while it doesn't appear that Holmes or Balwani barred inspectors from those rooms, keeping the doors shut certainly made it less likely that they would ask to see what's inside. So basically what they're saying here is she knew it wasn't working.
Right.
Right? And she was continuing, she knew enough to want to hide it.
Right.
If you really believed everything was on the up and up, okay,
then you would have let them, it wouldn't have mattered.
Thank you.
It would not have mattered one fucking bit.
Not a bit. So don't give me this like, oh,
I'm just curious what this new business venture is. She going to try and reinvent electricity
right?
or some shit? Like, what is she fucking going to do?
She's going to claim to be the inventor of memes.
Yeah. Or Band-Aids or some shit.
Yeah, something fucking retarded. Later, Rosendorf was asked to provide explanations to doctors as to why Theranos tests were producing questionable results. In one instance, Christian Holmes, Elizabeth's brother, asked Rosendorf to reply to a doctor who wanted a more detailed explanation about cholesterol results. I'm going to pass this one, Rosendorf replied to Christian. When Holmes' brother asked him what he meant, he replied, if you're asking me to defend these results, then the answer is no.
Right, absolutely not.
Right.
I'll lose my license behind you jerks.
And then Christian responded, passing is not an option. In a later email exchange between Christian and Elizabeth, she told her brother, you handled this excellently. Under cross-examination, Holmes's attorney, Lance Wade, asked Rosendorf, did you offer lab tests that you knew at the time were inaccurate and unreliable? The former lab director replied, no, I ordered the laboratory to discontinue testing and I raised concerns to management. Asking if Holmes had ever told him to report an inaccurate result, Rosendorf said no, she had not asked him to do so. He revealed that the patient launch that he pushed to delay was restricted to friends and family. Wade further pressed Rosendorf on whether his answers to prosecution's questions were scripted. I don't give a shit. What would it matter?
Right.
If it was scripted.
Scripted.
Like, okay. So basically they were pushing him out to, and Holmes, this is the last email from Holmes. Holmes replied, how sad and disappointing it is to see this from you. Claiming that he hadn't shared his concerns with her earlier, despite being copied on numerous emails which the jury has seen, where he did exactly that. In a separate reply, Balwani was dismissive of Rosendorf's complaints and later emailed Holmes urging her to fire him rather than letting him finish his last few days. So they were basically, Christian Holmes somehow got involved in this, and it was this, they expected this lab director to defend these results to all these customer complaints.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I can't
fucking defend it. I told you this didn't fucking work.
Right. It's not working. I can't make it work, and I'm not going to make some shit up.
It's ridiculous. It's like, apparently the cross-examination with this lab director has gotten spicy. Like, the two of them do not, Holmes's attorney and this guy, they don't get along.
Oh.
They're not going to be on each other's Christmas lists.
Oh, dear.
Oh, so this is part of, did we talk about the last time that we were together, did we talk about how the opening statement, they said that failure isn't a crime?
I can't remember.
I can't remember if I talked about that with you or Alexander, but basically the defense's opening statement said Theranos failed, but failure is not a crime.
No, failure's not a crime by any means, but lying and putting thousands of people's lives in danger is, you dumbass.
Thank you. This whole like, oh, she's just, and it's so frustrating when you're like, that is not what's happening here. She's not being prosecuted because she failed. She's being prosecuted because she lied about failing.
Right.
And put people in serious risk.
Right. That could have killed someone.
Thank you. Yeah. But they don't.
Oh, it's not a crime to fail.
No, it's not a crime to fail.
Okay.
But this is weird. Okay.
Right. This is wrong.
Is a crime.
Morally wrong. It's morally wrong.
Thank you. She apparently, a reporter saw her with her mom at a Starbucks right after court, and she was like, in court she's very, she knows, she's very in control.
Right.
She's very calm. She sits up straight. But apparently in the Starbucks she just looked completely defeated. And I think what's interesting, what I can appreciate from the trial is when you read the book, listen to the podcast, etc., you do come to an understanding that she does not register reality.
Obviously.
She just doesn't.
Because she made up fucking test results.
Exactly. So her sitting here being forced to have them show her emails, her texts, her everything. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that's incredible for somebody that
lives in their own little world.
Yeah.
And thinks that what they're doing is fine.
Somehow okay.
Yeah. Who thinks it's some sort of miracle.
Right. Because, that's, oh, good Lord. So, I think that's it. Erica Chung testified. They still tried to do the whole, like, well, you don't know. They still tried to discredit her, saying, oh, she's just a lowly lab tech. And I'm like, if a lowly lab tech can see clearly that what you're doing is wrong, then what's wrong with you?
Right. When the janitor says, I think some shit's fucked up around here.
Thank you. Like,
think you have an issue.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just wild to me. But so far the trial has been, it's every day it's been something really interesting.
Wow.
All right, so here's the last thing we'll talk about with the Elizabeth Holmes thing that I thought was interesting. She would basically like be writing memos to herself. Like trying to give herself little pep talks, I guess. She wrote on April 2nd, 2015, Becoming Steve Jobs.
Oh my God.
Like, the note was among more than a dozen pages of diary-like stream of consciousness writings that Holmes typed up to herself that year. CNBC obtained a portion of these notes. 5 months after the note to herself, she was formally dubbed the next Steve Jobs in a magazine cover story. The article began, you'd have to look really hard not to see Steve Jobs in Elizabeth Holmes. I'm pretty sure.
She kills me with that shit.
It's the...
Okay, Stephanie Jobs. Sit your stupid ass down.
Let's see here. Some of the other little notes. 2 weeks later, Holmes wrote another note to herself. Point by point refutation statements. Fearless, transparent, nothing to hide. In a note that evening, Holmes wrote, board statement, independent look at accusations by board, making statement, no independent opinion. It's just random stream of consciousness that she's typing out, basically.
That's poetry, Laura.
And at one point she did write herself, I'm trying to find this. In one of the more cryptic notes to herself, Holmes wrote, really smart people picked off Madoff or Mado, not you. So in other words, First of all, convince me that when you say Mado, you're not talking about Bernie Madoff. Like, there's no
Who is
other...
Mado?
Yeah, it's Bernie Madoff. Basically, when the scandal first started to break, she's writing little notes to herself. Madoff got caught. Really smart people caught him, which they didn't. He turned himself in, or his boys did. And she says, they won't get you. That's kind of damning, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, just a little that you knew. You knew.
Right.
In fact, you in your own head and on your notes are comparing yourself
to Bernie Madoff, who also knew.
You fucking knew, man.
That he was a goddamn scammer.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So that's basically, we're going to keep on top of it. We'll try to do another recap. But thank you to Alexandra for sitting in with us last time. She's so funny. Her and I are going to get together and figure out this episode of John Carreyrou's podcast that we can tell you about, because it's a little wild.
Oh, dear. And thank you for filling in.
Yes.
Because,
All right. So we're going to keep on top of the Theranos of it all. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you again to Alexandra. I will be reaching out to you so we can work on that deep dive. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep an eye on the Elizabeth Holmes-ness of it all and see how much fucking weirder this story gets.
Right.
All right. Until next time, I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. And follow us on our Facebook page by searching Q as in Cucumber. Don't forget to check out our other show, hosted by me and Jessica James, called The Parent Memoirs. And we want to hear from you. Share your stories by emailing us at qasincucumber@yahoo.com, and you might just hear your stories on a future episode. Love your faces.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.